So, hey guys, AJ back. For the record, it is 6:29. Wednesday, March the 5th. So, you know, just doing my thing, my business, so to speak. I'm at the hotel at Devil's End. So, I made the request to change the room because of the dust and the allergies. So I had to wake up stuff and whatnot. So anyways, that's good. And I was in the process of submitting my civil claim, concerning the allegation, so to speak, right? And that my inalienable natural rights and freedom have been violated. I have been made the subject and the target for prejudice. Just pure prejudice. Systemic, discrimination, defamation, racial profiling, social profiling. Perhaps the way I look, because my hair to the side. Missing perhaps the turban, or maybe I'm not wearing one. If I was wearing one, I would not perhaps be treated the way I was treated. But the fact is that I am an indigenous Palestinian born refugee in the city of Damascus. Perhaps that is my crime, that I understand who I am and where I'm from, and I reject this notion that I must obey unlawful orders and submit to the will of others. Every human being, that is. Every human being has that right, the innate natural right, to, I'm breathing, you're breathing, it's natural, it's innate to us, all of us, it's, inalienable natural right and freedom. I cannot, stop it from breathing while, I can breathe. It does not make sense. And this is where the crux of the matter of my case. It's not about it's not about contesting an unlawful random, so to speak. Right? Police stop my check. No, it's not about that. Not at all. Like I said, perhaps at the end of the day are just like all of us people. But the problem is this, there's those who are in uniform because they are, trusted. We are a law-abiding citizen. We go about our, life and pursuit of life and happiness. And so long we are doing everything in a safe and legal and non-criminal manner, we have not caused harm. There is absolutely no reason for you to come after and start just randomly stopping people in the name of your bullshit, Highway Traffic Act, which you have yet to understand what I mean. So you're coming at me with the allegation, and again, that's not, to say that those are lawful or not. I mean, they're unlawful from the minute when you pull me over and you start coming at me with prejudice. So, and the fact is, despite me telling you the facts and the truth that I believe that I'm in the right, you have no reason to just simply stop me and arrest me and search me without any lawful order or search warrant, that is. You had no prior authorization, so why should I submit to you? I did nothing wrong. I'm a citizen of this land. I've been here for 25 years. I'm a Canadian citizen. I've been naturalized citizen since 2010. A law-abiding citizen, So my social, my marital or my financial status, none of your business and concern. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I find it odd when I get pulled over by the RCMP for similar offense allegedly, and the RCMP is smiling. And this was on Kerwood. He had followed me from Allen Park. But again, he has the same technology you are using. My car is being flagged, no problem. But again, I did not have any prior knowledge, and he verified the facts. I told him the truth, and he verified because The letter was still in mail, it turned out. So, he let me go. I had a valid liability insurance. So, then you come along with your unlawful accusation that I'm under arrest. You come at me, you breach my jurisdiction of, my, body, the mind and the bodily autonomy. You just breach into my, property unlawfully. You just open the door, demand that I exit. I was under arrest. What for again? So when I exclaim and I tell you, you had no reason. Well, you had no reason. So I tell you. So suddenly now it's about because me. I'm reaching to the back of my car. There's something. So there's suspicious activities. Okay, no problem. Okay, I told you. Well, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt again. Like I said, I salute you for doing the job because we are entrusting you with our, community safety, with our lives, and that's how we keep our community safe from the thugs and criminals, not the people who are, our ordinary citizen with a clean criminal record. They just so happen to be going through some perhaps midlife crisis or not. None of your business. It's outside your jurisdiction. When your commission offense will cause more hardship. Because fundamentally, the rule of the law is, the salvation of life. And, you are innocent until proven guilty. And at the end of the day, administrative law, it's just monetary value. I mean, so what is it that you want from me? I reinstated my driver license, which was unlawfully, according to you, was, allegedly suspended before, you had to move over on the 24th of August, 2024. I had been driving for 30 days because I learned after I got out of jail on the 29th, right, with my mother as a surety, I learned, that basically, I had been, convicted unlawfully, under 3 offenses that had taken, an incident on the 16th of May, so May 16th, 2024, and I had gone a week after on the 23rd of May, with one of the tickets because I had not consented to those 3 commission offenses. And, the officer, at the time, he knows himself, Mufathi. I don't know his badge number because, as I, rejected the 3 offenses, one of them flew back into my vehicle. And that was my sign of, basically, I reject those. I do not consent to these offenses. I did commit no harm. I did cause no harm. I did nothing wrong. He just happened to come after me for no reason. So I was charged with these, with 3 offenses, as I mentioned. But, it's not the fact that, I was charged with the 3 offenses. I mean, I've been driving for 20 plus years here in this city of Ottawa. It's not like I'm against the law. I'm not. I'm just against, unlawful, and abuse of power, government overreach. So now, I'm stopped, suddenly on the 16th of August the 24th of August, because like I said, I've been driving for 30 days, so the July 24th, it turned out, so May 16th is when, the commission offense. I go a week after, the 7 days later, so 23rd of May, and I went and I spoke with, with the staff at, Honda Constellation Drive. I did, I went, there's a record, I went and I inquired, and then, I showed the guy the ticket, the clerk, so the agent of the city, so to speak. And remember, this is the city that's basically that I need to go contest, because it's a city, city of Ottawa. This is the city of Ottawa Police Services that basically are, representing the arm of the government, so they have their chief of Ottawa rules and regulation. So I want to see the prosecutor, the current prosecutor herself. That's right. You wanted to complain as a citizen of this land. There was no reason to be, treated the way I was treated. It was just not like, why? Like the guy came at me with like flashlight, like in my eyes of like high power LEDs. Listen, man, there is no reason for you to come at me like that. So anyway, long story short, so I was, I tell the guy, the clerk, here's the ticket. Like there are 3 of them, but the only one, flew back into my vehicle, my car. So I'm here to contest it. Not the fact that I just do not consent to all these 3 charges. So now, the clerk takes it and, he looks and, he doesn't know. Well, there's nothing, because it turned out that the ticket they were issued in my name, allegedly, without the hyphen. So Al Shahabi, my last name, but there was no hyphen, so there was just a space. And then suddenly, when I present my ID, when I give him, my ID, and he's like, "There's nothing," and then like, he gives me back the offense. I mean, okay, don't act smart. Like, you told me there's nothing, I'm good to go. So I left. So the fact that I left, on the on the July 2nd, I believe, or July 3rd, because it takes 3 weeks, until you found guilty. So I was found guilty some 3 weeks prior to the 24th of August, because July, sorry, because that's when basically the suspended driver license effective date was issued or ordered, basically. So that's what happened, and then the 24th of August, I have been driving for 30 days. Like, don't tell me that the cops, nobody in the city of Ottawa knows that basically I'm not driving with a suspended driver license. I mean, the issue comes from you, the MTO, right? MTO, based on what? The stooges in Ottawa, because they represent the government. So they have a claim against me, and a claim I did not defend myself, and therefore they must go. And they have whatever evidence they have, as whether you show up or not. That's what they do. But that's where the problem is, because now you are being found guilty, in your absence by default, because they're just simply trying to come after you and chase you for crimes you did not commit, and they just impose their rules over you, because suddenly you have to submit to their laws. Why do I have to submit to your laws when you are infringing on my natural rights and freedom as a human being? It's a salvation of life. So I did what I did. Not because listen, you are in breach of trust. I got pulled over. You pulled me over. You came at me. You opened the door. Breach of jurisdiction. First of all, you come and you demand I leave and inquire why. Oh, why? Suspended driver license, too bad. So now you continue to basically ask me what was I trying to do in the back. I told you I'm a guitar. I play the guitar, because you just you're a Darwinist, perhaps. You forgot where you're from. You forgot. So what's it to you? So now suddenly he's an Iraqi, 23 years of age, named Yusuf. The badge number is the subject of a public inquiry before the court. So, and again, I tell you, I'm trying to reach for my passport, because, that's my guitar back in the back. So, I think surprised, like he has never seen a passport. And then, hands behind my back, continues to handcuffing me, legs spread out. He continues to searching me, tapping, left, right, and then, proceeds into handcuffing me, putting me in the back of the cruiser. Meanwhile, he and his partner, Brandon, like a white Irish man, English, with all the freckles you could tell. The guy's probably 32 years of age, men, 32, I would say. Anyways, and he's a senior, because, Mr. What's his name, Yusuf, of all names, Yusuf, right? He's just the Uber guy. And he's, probably got, he's only been here for what? His words, not mine, 9 months. In the country. So here I am, where I am, and, essentially, I'm entrusting the government and their, law enforcement agency, their role. So, in this case, with the municipality of Ottawa, because we are residents of Ottawa. That's my hometown, a city that I grew up in over the last 25 years. I went to high school, I finished aerospace, electronic system design engineering at Carleton University. So I graduated, in 2009 with co-op experience. I had jump-started my career in 2006, May, at a French-based company called Alcatel in the telecom space. So Alcatel had just bought Newbridge. Newbridge is basically, one of the crown jewels, in the kind of telecommunication and startup, industry in Ottawa, right? So this is the days of the Nortel, the Bell Lab, the communication research. So research and motion. So you had basically Silicon Valley and North. So that was basically Ottawa for you. Just like there's a California, there was a Silicon Valley North in Ottawa. The problem is, in Ottawa, if you're an engineer, you are paid 1/3 what the exact same job description would pay in, say California, the exact same. Why? Because they value. Whereas Canadian, they only receive 1/3. And then you're sold this kind of dream, the Canadian dream. I came here. I just turned 14. So I was sold this Canadian dream. Oh, guess what? You go to high school, seek higher education. You start working, have a family, blah 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 blah. We left like Syria. When we left Syria, it was 1999. So there was about a war to happen between Turkey and Syria. There was tension. The Turkish government wanted to simply, build this dam on the Euphrates to divert the water. So, it's if you're Palestinian, you're a born refugee like my case. Your chances, your options are limited. I mean, the war had started in Syria in 2011, and I had just, been away for over 10 years. I had left, October 1999, the 26th. That's when we landed, and I haven't, visited Syria since then. Right? So I had no ID, nothing. So it's called, shahada. So age, I believe 17, 18, they issue the military service book, because military service was compulsory, 2.5 years. But as a sole child to my father, I would be exempt, except I came down and went down. My Syrian passport had expired. So when I came down, I just came down based on my Canadian citizenship status. I went and I just as a Canadian citizen, law-abiding citizen. I'm entering my hometown. I'm visiting. I was stuck there for the next 7 weeks, and then alhamdulillah, I was essentially, so to speak, allowed to travel or issued a presidential pardon to basically, leave Syria. It wasn't me alone. It was me and perhaps 77 other cases, or 72. I can't remember. 72, 77. Somewhere around that number. And at the time I had just met my ex-wife. So we met in the 25th of January, the winter of 2008. Very same day, 7 years later, my sole child, Haneen Al-Shihabi, and she's been registered as Esmeralda Haneen Al-Shihabi. This is a case before the Supreme Court of Canada, because the establishment, so to speak, I call it, the system, is against a citizen of the land, because simply I'm asserting my natural rights and freedom, inalienable natural rights and freedom, because that is my child. Understand, that is my child. So now again, you are in breach of trust. And my daughter, she's my daughter first and foremost. I'm entrusting the school when my daughter is there. The fact that we had a divorce, amicable divorce agreement. Myself and my ex, she had sought divorce. I did not. Last I checked, she was the more Catholic, and we went to church. I had to go through. We both of us had to go through the so to speak, the blissful application approval, right? Like all the way to the Vatican, man, like all the way to the Vatican, almost. So the bishop had to get a, bishop approval. So the first church, we had seen, was an Indian priest, and the guy was just, prejudiced, man, just looking at us like, this must be the biggest sin of the world, the Latina Catholic, sin-free, she's not gonna marry this, indigenous, crusader, so to speak, holy crusader, right? Because, God forbid I was a born Muslim, right? So now I need the approval of some stooge, entity, spiel approval to be able to marry the person that, my heart, which is, beats, my heart beats innately to my, it's innate to myself. I cannot control my heartbeats. When I see somebody, my heart beats for that person. I love that person. She loves me. So what's up to you people? Suddenly now we have to. So for 4 years, 2008 till 2012. So 2010, I had, like I said, I just started my career upon graduation in 2009 of June class. And like I said, I had jump-started my career. Previous to that in 2006 May. At Alcatel, and I did it for 16 months, so a year and 4 months, and then after that I was invited again because Alcatel merged with Lucent, and before you know it, the crash happens. The crash happens, right? The subprime mortgage rate happens, 2007, and I had just secured my first condo, mortgage. I remember I had just been approved. I just been approved. So, at the time I was living with my mother and my sister because, I was the man of the house. That's, my culture. You're the man of the house. My mom and my dad had been separated, the year before that. And, basically, my dad had essentially prevented me and forbid me from being with my mom and my sister until I finished high school. That was my last year of high school. I was not to basically, affect my performance in school. So, I did. I listened to him, and I had just finished high school, and then, I decided to move in with my sister and my mother to look after at the time, my mom, she had, been going through a lot. And, regardless, my mom, my dad, it's not the point. It's, my relationship with her. I'm still her son, and I've been taking care of her since day one. So I moved in with her and my sister, and we were at 78 Finch Private. This is the very address that they, stooges, try to basically, fabricate that. When I showed up to Wofford Hospital, like they put this doctor named Elham Shamsin, which I've never consented to, basically being my family doctor, let alone, receive, third-party information that I did not consent to. But now, it's clear what is happening. So they are all complicit as to trying to fabricate evidence against a citizen, conspire, evidence against myself. So, and the crux of the matter is very simple. When you preach democracy and freedom of expression and believe in, association, Section 1, right, Part 1 of the Constitution Act, 1982, and you just willfully, there's something called blissful ignorance, and there's something also called, willful ignorance, and while perhaps ignorance of the law, blissful ignorance can be pardoned. Willful ignorance cannot be pardoned. You have to understand. You have Section 19 of no other than your own code book, the Criminal Code RSC 1985, CEC 46. Section 19 is what? It's ignorance of the law, and ignorance of the law does not give you the right to commit the offense and break the rule of the law yourself. Because at the end of the day, man-made statute law, are essentially acts of parliament, legislature. You could not have your act without the act of parliament, and that basically parliament, is superseded by something called natural laws, And again, I gave you the gist of it, but you've got also the supreme law of the land. I'm just going right away to the natural law, because at the end of the day, you have to understand you have a right to go about your life, pursue life and happiness, and I do too. My internal affairs has nothing to do with you. Now you're trying to infringe on my own, basically, jurisdiction of my holy family unit. So what? I was married that, she sought divorce. My ex sought the divorce. Because I chose to leave the corporate world. I was making six figures, $125,000 a year. Those are facts. So why else am I showing my face? Why else am I recording this if it's not for the fact that, victim impact assessment? You want me to give you a victim impact assessment statement, right? And look, man, there's nothing you could do. There's nothing you could do to actually undo the damage you've done to me. That's not because I was mentally incapacitated. I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. Understand? You try to fabricate evidence against me, because if I was mentally incapacitated and you're trying to make a proof of that, advance that argument, then, that's something could be NCR. As a defense lawyer, you would be going for non-criminal responsible. But guess what? I did not agree to those charges. So why else did you do what you did? Why else did you do what you did to justify your use of force, excessive force, and you almost killed the citizen? I could have been a statistics. I could have been a Lloyd Floyd. Why? I don't have to be, Black Lives Matters. Yeah, I don't have to be, painting my face black so you can go after and, somebody has to capture the evidence on YouTube. But I just so happened to survive the incident, right? I survived the fact that you unlawfully tasered a citizen. I was armless. I was running because I did the right thing as a law-abiding citizen. Because now, when there's a breach of trust, the officer himself tells me within within the hour, come back and your vehicle should still be here. Like, okay, great. Within 20 minutes, I just so happened to see my brother Buya, who is also can testify before the court. There's evidence before the court. There are witnesses. There are subpoena court orders. So let's do a public inquiry. Why else do we have to Why else do we have a court system? Why else do we have a judiciary system that is supposed to apply justice? Because fundamental justice is, at the end of the day, is what? Is the ability to speak your story, speak your facts, and bring the facts and evidence. And I'm the body at the end of the day. I'm the one who sustained the physical abuse, not the cops. I was assaulted first by the Guyana police, which are again armed length. Probably if all the police is an armed length, Quebec is very much like shiver length. That's what I call basically a hand. This arm is like your full arm is dira. So yeah. So I'm here up against, you have the Gatineau police because they assault me. They just perhaps again, they look at me. This guy does not speak French. He must be alien because I look like an indigenous man, right? I'm an indigenous man who happens to believe in the Korea. I just happen to be from Damascus, Syria. Yes, I finished my aerospace electronics system design. I'm an engineer myself. I understand everything else on top of it. You are. On the other hand, the incompetent schmuck that do not understand basic, laws and order and hierarchy. So I can remind you, I'm more than happy to school the sheep out of you. But again, don't just assume. Don't just assume that now suddenly because you are wearing this, uniform, legal organized uniform that allows you to basically belong to an organization, so to speak. Right? That's your organization. You have to represent. So that's your coat of arms, so to speak. That's your coat of arms. That's your uniform. You wear that, and you have to go by the code of conduct. It's not difficult to understand. There's always a child law and there's always a parent law. That's it. You cannot break parent law. So municipal bylaws and regulations, which basically extends the provincial acts of parliaments. essentially are all subject to no other than the supreme, law of the land in Canada, and that is basically, Section 52(1), Part 7 of the Constitution 1982. So again, go back to your own law, go back to your own laws. So again, I had my food at Wendy's. Yesterday I wanted to, so what happened was I submitted my application, and it's not like look, man, I'm on the phone, I have been made homeless, I'm on the phone, I barely have a chance to sit down, because I'm on the road, I'm on the road. So, but I know what to do and how to manage my life, as a, entrepreneur, CEO myself, you are resourceful. It turned out now, they want to make a homeless out of me, fugitive, but not, this fast. You have to understand the fuckery. So I have my house in Ottawa, my condo. Remember the first one I told you about? I bought at the age 21. So following my internship, I had been saving money, putting aside money. I bought that one in 2007. My mom had been living with me since 2007 until 2022. When I basically, was going through a divorce, and that's when my ex had sought the divorce. We had an amicable divorce agreement. Very flexible, very open, and there was no reason for the government of Quebec and on basically the unlawful authorization or request and claim of the stooges at the Western Quebec School Board and South Howe Elementary School, right? And no other than the principal himself, Eric Tremblay, and the stooges, legal counsel and the agent of the Norma Splain. So I get to be separated from my child. So again, when I'm, as a concerned father, request the immediate meeting within 3 days, of my complaint, I expect full attention from the administration, because now the administration is, entrusted with the life of my daughter, and I have values and views that perhaps may not always, agree with the establishment and your, what you're trying to, impose in your public school, Quebec. At the end of the day, it's an English school, but it's still funded by the province of Quebec, and there are going to be, more bias towards, a French propaganda, so to speak, or programming, right? The unique needs of the French people. So, and that includes the language and culture, so to speak, or heritage, if you will. Well, guess what? I'm an indigenous Palestinian. So, and I do not consent to some of the programming that my daughter is going to be subject to, and I have the right as a natural father to understand the nature of these, so-called therapy session one-on-one. So when I go to school and then being denied my daughter for no reason other than the fact that it's prejudice against a human and a natural person, indigenous Palestinian, and suddenly the school now is trying to basically come in between me and my daughter. They had separated a child from her father. Father from his child, unlawfully, and and that's kind of what everything is on. Everything is connected. So when I'm again thrown back in jail for no reason, without a just cause, again, finally I'm released without a surety, because the second time around I was thrown in jail without a just cause. Why? Because I myself walked into the courthouse to receive my disclosure for otherwise, allegedly five criminal charges. I yet have to receive them before the court. Where? In Ottawa Court of Justice, Ottawa OCG, right? Ottawa Court of Justice. So they give me this bogus court date all the way in September the 25th, 2025. Why? I've been telling you from day one, I want to see a judge. I do not care to be there. But no. So now, go find out. It's, bench warrant. Oh, why? I'm surprised. Why am I still on the road? If it's a bench warrant, it shouldn't be federal. So shouldn't the judge at the federal level, basically sign on this, unlawful, bench warrant? So that's why the jurisdiction matter. So it should be the same thing with the RCMP and Alcatraz. They have no jurisdiction over me. The license plate clearly says Ottawa, Ontario, at least. And it's a rental, and you have no reason to basically interrupt my peace and my night at 3:30 in the morning. Allegedly, you're throwing an allegation that there are suspicious vehicle, which doesn't even match. That's in your own disclosure. you're looking for an Audi. I'm driving a Honda. I mean, clearly different. Unless you do not know your cars. There's a German car versus, Honda as well, to Korea. So, I produced my passport when the RCMP narcotics arrived, and this was the 12th of February, so, it's like about 3 weeks ago now. And, the guy wakes, knocks on the window, and, the car's gonna be turned on. It's minus 30 in Octox that night. It was really cold. Go back to the weather forecast. It was minus 25, minus 30, easy. So here I am with my brother Abdul Hamid, who has a permanent disability, and he himself is a refugee sponsored Syrians. He's a government sponsored Syrian refugee. He has only been here for 2 years, and again, the guy has himself also he has been basically the subject of preferential and racial profiling and just a belief system. Suddenly he is being the subject of unlawful laws. So and his any other national rights and freedom are being violated as per the Constitution. And the fact that he's my brother in faith, I represent his case. I represent him. We have that trust. Myself and Ammar, I already signed on the consent form, and I spoke with the Alberta government. So suddenly, when I go to the federal government, office, I'm told that they're calling security over me because suddenly I'm there with my brother. He does not need the interpreter. I am more than capable to speak and explain not only the English to Arabic translation, as I mentioned to you. It's more than just the English to Arabic or Arabic to English. It's more of the fact, okay, the legal meaning, translation, okay, what is the law, the interpretation of the law itself. That's what matters. And again, my testimony, when I was at Aish with my brother Ammar and Abdul Hamid, that's a testament that I was, taking the leadership initiative. Now, the fact that my brother, both of them are oblivious and naive, does not negate the facts that I know. I have my responsibility towards them. So it's my obligation, my duty, as I'm fighting for my own in Arabian national rights and freedom. It's my duty, to defend my brothers in faith. We are all Syrian. I just have to be indigenous Palestinian, and they happen to be indigenous Syrian. One is from the Aleppo of Halab. The city of Aleppo, so Halab. Halab. So anyway, so we have like the city of Aleppo, Halab, and then the other friend of mine, Ammar Sarhan. So Abdul Hamid Sultan is from the city of Aleppo, and then Ammar Sarhan is from the city of Suida. Abdul Hamid is here for 2 years, right? Syrian government sponsored refugee. He was in Turkey prior to that for 10 years. So go figure. So I just I had a belief, suspicious, ground to believe that there is some sort of a systemic prejudice and a racial profiling. Certain set of people are being the more you resist, it's like the more your life gets harder for you. No, listen, I did not choose any of this to happen to me. I'm simply a man who is going about the life motion, and the rule, and the law enforcement, which are, the government, the executive arm length of the government and federal, right? So you have the RCMP, and all the way from the RCMP, OPP to municipalities. They are all complicit. So I'm up against the entire government of Canada, and that's why it's Ahmad, AJ. So myself. Right, AJ, and my tribe, and against King Charles himself. So I'm here just playing some guitar. So how are you, brother? I just started, man. Where are you from? Ethiopia? Where are you from? Okay, so you speak Amharic. You speak Amharic. Do you speak Amharic? Okay, so explain to me how many days in the calendar? How many months do you have in the calendar?
Is Canada?
No, you're indigenous. You know, you're from. You tell me you're from Ethiopia.
Yeah.
So you have a calendar, right?
Yeah.
Like months. How many months in the year?
Yeah.
Okay, how many months in the year? How many? 5 months? How many months in 1 year? 12. 12. Okay, so how many days each one? How many days each one? So he says there's 12 months. Okay, but and he's from Ethiopia, but how old are you, brother?
Fine.
So the old calendar, the Mahar, the Ethiopian calendar, they use 13 month. 13 month. All month somehow yes. All the months they tell you it's 30 days. So 30 days times 30 is 300, right? 60. 12 times 30 plus 5, because you have 1 month is 5, because the solar calendar is 365. The science right now, the scientific community tells you it's a 365 days calendar. So now to change the calendar, what they did, they made the calendar this is the Ethiopian, this is the indigenous Ethiopian calendar, 13 months. So remember, a month, if your name is as for example, my name is AJ, my name is not Ikrima or something else, it's AJ, right? So everything has a fixed a month. So the 13 month, they used to have 30, right? It's not actually 30, it's 28. It's 28, because I'll tell you why it's 28. So 28, each month divides equally. If you have a 364 days calendar, it divides equal into a 13 month of 28. Now, so because before my brother here, whatever his belief system is, in Ethiopia there is a 3 belief system. There's the Jewish, there's a Christian, and there's also Muslim people. All in that area. They call themselves people of faith, right? So you, my friend, are a people of faith. You're a person of faith. I don't care what he believes, but he knows what I'm talking about. So he agrees. So the point is this: your belief system tells you what happens, and what happens is very simple, right? 13 months. The Lord, the Creator, He created this world, right? I don't care what you believe, what you call your Creator. It's the universe. What do you want to call it? It's the same. It's the same deity, the same entity. And remember, a sulhufa, or a turtle. A turtle is the creation of no other than the Lord Almighty. So 13 major shells. They teach that in the science, grade 3. My daughter, she knows that, by the way. And ask her daughter. Welcome to Canada. 13 shells. That's major shells for the turtle. And then they have 28 sub-shells, and that is a turtle, my man. And Mother Nature tells us we are men of light, essentially. So I don't care what you believe in. You're talking to me in a nice way, I talk to you in a nice way, we're all happy. Playing the guitar, we're having a conversation. And people, they're trying to divide us because suddenly this guy, they're supposed to be fasting. But I'm telling them, you have not convinced me, because every day you see sunlight. It's a new day. Okay, so there are 364 solar days for what we call lunar cycle, because there are 13 lunar cycles, 28 days exactly, for the moon to go around the earth. That's what science tells you, that earth goes around the sun. But it doesn't matter, each to their belief. Some people believe the earth is stationary, but it doesn't matter. We can bring the facts and evidence. I myself am an aerospace engineer, so I'm speaking from facts. I'm not just someone who is playing the music. This is my hobby. Elon Musk follows me, not because I play the guitar and this is my hair. No, there's a reason, because I'm speaking facts. You have science and you have pseudoscience. So while everybody is busy following the charlatans and the stooges, I am busy playing my music, and that's why I live life. We live life, brother. What's your name? Maharik, that's your name. MashaAllah. My name is AJ for Ahmad Jr. AJ for Ahmad Jr. That's it, brother. But AJ is easy. I'm like eating. They're like, this guy must be a kafir. He's not fasting. I'm like, I'm not. You don't know anything. Because it's the wrong season. I just explained to you. It's important to understand the time. There's universal time. And there's the clock that You go and you divide the time based on what you want, and that's what I'm telling you. There's universal time. So the 13 lunar cycle, it's not my time, it's not your time, it's universal time. So when they come and they change the calendar now, suddenly, you start losing track of the time, which is the universal time. So we have to go back to be in synchronization with the mother nature, with the time. So now we basically are what? Are just... Me, I've been here for 25 years. 25 years in Canada. Like I said, I was born in Syria, right? I was in Syria, Damascus, Dimashq, Naam, Syria. So check this out. I was born refugee. Like I have a wathiqa, so they call it a travel document. I cannot even travel many. Brooks, this is my second week around, but I've been here in Alberta since I believe the January the 19th or so, or around that time. I have to double check my transaction, but I left Ottawa on the 16th. Yeah, so no, it must have been after the 21. Someone's calling me. All right, let's see. Anyways, someone was trying to call me, but basically, I left Ottawa because, like I said, I came here for business. I'm on business. I'm in the business of renewable energy, but not the scam they tell you, because there's renewable energy and there's the scam energy, and that's why, at the end of the day, I'm an engineer, so I have obligation. So if, for example, you were my client, I would tell you, okay, does this make sense? Yes or no? Let me just answer the phone.